So in the case of testis, you may be primarily thinking it is a reproductive organ. Similarly, ovaries also we have studied as a reproductive organ. But both these organs are also acting as glands, and they are also producing a few hormones also, and these hormones are also playing an important role in the development of secondary sexual characteristics. So we will study what are the major hormones produced by the testis. Now basically testis is present in the scrotal sac. So this is the scrotal sac that is showing the testis. Now one feature of the testis is that in case of this testis, their primary function is production of sperm or spermatogenesis. And for producing sperm, the body needs a lower temperature. The usual temperature of a body is 37 degrees centigrade. So only the temperature is below 35, that is around 34 to 35. This sperm production can take place correctly. That is why body has detached this organ slightly away from the body, and it is kept in a sac, and that sac is known by the name scrotal sac. So it is the main purpose is to help in the better production of sperm. So these days many males are facing different type of fertility problems. Sometimes even the use of mobile, if you are using mobile or if you are using tight pants and other things, it can increase the heat level in the body. Even that for a person who already has some kind of problem, even this minor change in behavior can lead to major problem. So we will discuss what are the main hormones produced by the testis. So testis is basically composed of seminiferous tubules, which you can see here. These are the seminiferous tubules. Then and also in between the seminiferous tubules there is a type of cells called Leydig cells, and they are also known by the name interstitial cells. So between the seminiferous tubule you can find a type of cell known by the name interstitial, that is they are present in between the space among the seminiferous tubule. Now I will show you that picture of seminiferous tubule here. Now so if you look at the picture of seminiferous tubule, you can see that this is how this is the nature of the seminiferous tubule. You can see that this is a picture of the seminiferous tubule, and you can also see this is the seminiferous tubule, and what you are seeing here is the Leydig cells. So they are present in the space among the seminiferous tubule. Now so these are the two types of cells which we can mainly see in a testis. Now Leydig cells are producing a type of hormone known by the name testosterone. It is considered as an androgen. Andro means male, and gen means generating. So the presence of testosterone is inducing the body to develop in the direction of a male. Normally during the time of consumption, that is when a baby is born, all babies are naturally female. That is how the body is designed. That is, if the genetic composition is XY, after a particular time the embryo will be producing male hormone, and the body and then baby will be developing in the male direction. Suppose if even though the genetic nature is XY, due to some problem the body is unable to produce testosterone, automatically the baby will be developing in the female direction. So that is how the mechanism of nature is operating. Only if testosterone is present, the body will be developing in male pattern. In the absence of testosterone, it will be developing always in the female pattern. So that is how sometimes some genetic diseases are creating this sort of problem. So androgens regulate the development, maturation, functions of the male. Accessories as sex organs like epididymis. Here you can see that this area, this is known as epididymis. So what is happening is that this is a seminiferous tubule, and seminiferous tubule is forming a coiled region here, and it is in this coiled section of the seminiferous tubule basically this maturation, the sperms produced here will be undergoing its mature. Here this is the testis, and whatever sperms are produced will be coming out through this tubule, and that will be finally reaching here. And it is in this coiled portion of the tubule known by the name the epididymis, maturation of the sperms will be taking place. So that is the purpose of the epididymis, and it is considered as a male accessory sex organ. Accessory means supporting sex organ. Then we have vas deferens. What is vas deferens? Here you can see that this ductus deferens is also known as the vas deferens. So that is the tube that is carrying the sperm from the testis to the tip of the penis. So that is how the vas deferens is working. Then we have seminal vesicles are there. Seminal vesicles, I don't think here there is a picture of seminal vesicle. It is also present here along with it. So the seminal vesicle is actually acting as a temporary storage of this sperm. Then there is another gland known by the name prostrate gland. You might have sometimes especially in older male, sometimes prostrate gland creates a lot of problem. It is a gland that is producing a fluid, it's a liquid, and that liquid is actually contributing the liquid medium for the sperm to survive. So there are two glands, one is seminal vesicle and second is a prostrate gland. So the testis will be only producing the sperm cells. So that cell has to survive in a liquid medium, and that liquid medium or fluid is actually contributed by seminal vesicle and prostrate gland. Sometimes what happens is that this prostrate gland will be developing some kind of swelling, and that will be bulging into the urethra and thereby creating problems for male to pass urine. So this is especially common in older males, and sometimes you might have heard about such kind of problem. So that is regarding, so these are the various type of male accessory sex organs: epididymis, vas deferens, seminal vesicle, prostrate gland and urethra. So here you have to see that this androgen regulate the development, maturation and function. Suppose body is not producing testosterone. If our body is not able to produce testosterone, what happens is that these organs will not be developing in the correct pattern. As I told you earlier, no testosterone means the body is developing in female pattern. So in the absence of testosterone, if there is a deficiency of testosterone, not enough testosterone is produced, then also this female pattern will be developing in that person. So these hormones stimulate muscular growth. So one important feature of the male is that you can see that the males have a more muscle mass. That everybody knows that the muscle strength or muscle mass of the males is slightly more, and that is also triggered by this testosterone. Then the growth of facial hair, hairs on the face like beard and mustache. Then axillary hair, axilla means under your arm, underarm, that is axilla. Then the aggressiveness, the way the male and female respond to a situation is always different. Males are slightly more aggressive, slightly more assertive. That nature is always there. Then regarding the voice pattern, the low pitch voice, that is when a male is talking, the sound has a lower frequency but higher amplitude. In physics you might have heard the height of the wave, if it is more we call it as amplitude. So if the amplitude is more, the sound will be traveling longer, especially when we are living in forest, and most of the time it will be covered with the trees. And if when we are communicating, we are basically communicating by producing some kind of sound. So the male sound always travel longer. So that is one advantage, and that is why whenever you are talking in the class, both girls and boys are talking, usually boys are caught because their sound will be always traveling longer and will be easily distinguishable. So androgens play a major stimulatory role in the process of spermatogenesis, the formation of spermatozoa. That process is known by the name. So there are two functions. One is the development of male secondary sexual characteristics, then male kind of behavior, male kind of bodily growth, then the formation of spermatozoa, that is a spermatogenesis. These are all controlled by this testosterone, and you can also see that these androgens are acting on your brain, that is central nervous system, and they are also influencing male sexual behavior. So that is also a part of the functions done by the testosterone. Sometimes you might have seen that some people will be having trouble if this hormone is not in the right amount, and that situation is known by the name, that situation can lead to a lot of behavioral issues. Now recently we have a different type of sex which is known as the male, female and transgender. Have you ever wondered what is this actually a transgender? Transgender, basically they don't have any biological, they will not have any problem, but at the last stage of pregnancy or during the early stage of birth, what happens is that if for example the child is male, okay, and if their body is not producing sufficient quantity of testosterone, what will happen is that their brain, the body will be appearing like a male, okay, because that process of physical development is already complete. Then the mental development or brain development is coming, that is taking place at a later stage. And if during that stage, if adequate amount of male hormone is not there, what happens is that their brain will develop in female direction. So physically they appear male, mentally they appear female, because their brain has developed in a female direction, and that situation is known by the name transgender. So they look like a male but think like a female. That's a problem. An opposite situation can also take place. So this is what is called transgender actually. So these hormones produce anabolic effect. Anabolic means synthesis, producing muscle synthesis. That is why now sports people, you may have heard about, they are taking steroids. What is steroids? Most of the time these steroids are some kind of testosterone derivatives, and these steroids are used by people participating in sports, and they will be taking it periodically so that their muscle mass will be increasing. That is why in Olympics and other area this kind of drug usage, especially steroid usage, are prohibited, because when they are taking, their muscle mass will be improving, so they can perform better. So that is why, to avoid such kind of foul techniques, nowadays this kind of these sports persons have to go through rigorous medical checking. So these are some of the important functions of testis. You can see that basically spermatogenesis, male development of secondary sexual characteristics or accessory sex organs, male pattern of behavior, male sexual behavior. Then also you can also see the synthetic effect, the effect on bodily synthesis, especially on the protein and carbohydrate metabolism, and that will be improving your muscle growth. Then this is the regarding the testis, and we have the second organ, that is for ovary. If you are concerned, basically ovary is a female sex organ, the primary sex organ in case of females is known as the ovary. So in the ovary basically produce ovum, and you know that in a female there will be a sexual cycle which are repeated almost every month or at a duration of 28 days. This cycle will be repeated, and we call it by the name menstrual cycle, which we have studied earlier also. Now ovary basically produce ovum, that is main function. In addition to ovary, it is also producing two hormones. One is estrogen and other is progesterone. So these are the two hormones which are produced by the ovary. So if you look at the structure of the ovary, this is how an ovary will be appearing. So there will be a lot of small follicles are there. These are known by the name ovarian follicle, and during each month, and this ovarian follicle will be developing, maturing, and slowly increasing in size. Here you can see that this ovarian follicle is increasing in size. When it is completely increased in size, we call it by the name Graafian follicle. This is known as a Graafian follicle or a mature follicle. And when mature follicle is, and when that stage is reached, the ovum will be released. This Graafian follicle will be releasing the ovum present inside by rupturing the wall of the ovary. And this process is what we call ovulation. And after ovulation, what happens to this Graafian follicle is that it will be changing into another structure known by the name corpus luteum. So this is the normal consequence of an ovarian cycle, or you can call the what is happening during each menstrual cycle. Now, in the case of ovary, they are producing two hormones. One is estrogen and second one is the progesterone. Then you can see estrogen produce a lot of actions on the body, like stimulation of growth and activities of female sex organ. So in case of also the primary sex organ is ovary, uterus, etc. But along with that, there are other sexual features for a female, and they are known as the secondary sexual characteristics, and that will be controlled by these hormones known by the name estrogen and progesterone. And you can see that the high pitch voice, high pitch means frequency. The voice of a female has a higher pitch or higher frequency or lower amplitude. Frequency high means amplitude is low. Higher frequency means it will be producing more noise. But the ability of that high frequency sound to travel longer distance may not be high. So high pitch voice will be creating more sound in the immediate vicinity or immediate place, but it will not be traveling longer. So that is the effect of a female voice. Then another characteristic is the presence of mammary gland development, breast development. These are all controlled by estrogen and progesterone. Then the female pattern of behavior. And this female pattern of behavior or female sexual behavior is also controlled by the ovarian hormones like estrogen as well as the progesterone. Now the progesterone support pregnancy, and progesterone also acts on the mammalian gland and stimulate the formation of alveoli. So the second hormone known by the name progesterone. Suppose if any kind of fertilization is taking place, this ovum will be getting converted into zygote. When it is converting into zygote, then after some time it gets attached or on the wall of the uterus. There it slowly develops, and that process is known as implantation and gestation. That is what we call by the name. So progesterone will be also acting. Main function of the progesterone is that it is a hormone that is helping in the continuation of pregnancy. And in the absence of sufficient quantity of progesterone, the pregnancy may be facing a lot of problems. So especially that happens in several women. If progesterone is not sufficient, this ovarian this attachment or implantation may not take place properly. So a lot of other complications can also happen. Then other function of the progesterone is that it will be supporting mammalian glands and stimulate the formation of alveoli. Alveoli are the sac-like cells which are present in the breast or in the mammary gland. They are producing the milk. So milk is actually produced by the progesterone, produced by the alveolar cells in the mammary gland, and their function is actually supported and controlled or regulated by progesterone. So this is how the progesterone is working on the body. You can also see that. So regarding the functioning of the ovary as well as the testis, they have only two hormones. One is estrogen and progesterone, whereas in case of testis, it has only one hormone, that is a testosterone. So then we have to go to another area, that is the mechanism of hormonal action. Now in the use of hormones,